And good morning, everybody. Here are your notes and examples for IXL.com, Algebra 1, the Z.9, and we're going to be multiplying two binomials together. And these ones are called special cases because there are some special things that you need to watch out for. And they also call them special cases because there are special patterns that some people memorize, but if you just stick to your basic multiplying of two binomials, so your distributive property, then you can work through all these problems. You don't have to memorize any special patterns. And just to quickly review multiplying two binomials together, if you have two terms being multiplied against two other terms, the big idea is that everything needs to get multiplied by everything else. So for example, A has to distribute and multiply against those two terms, and B will also have to distribute and multiply by those two terms, and then you want to simplify. And I often refer to this as double distribution because you're distributing twice, very similar to what I call single distribution. If you just have a single term multiplied against two terms, you're just going to do single distribution, so distribute the A. Here it's kind of the same idea, you just have two things to distribute, so you have to distribute the A and then also distribute the B, and then whatever you're left with you then want to simplify. And here is our first example from IXL.com. So we want to multiply these two binomials. So first we want to distribute 2t. So 2t multiplied by another 2t. 2 times 2 should get you 4. And t times a t is t to the second power, so t squared. And then distribute your 2t into the next term in the other binomial. So 2t multiplied by positive 3 should get you positive 6t. And then distribute your negative 3. So negative 3 multiplied by 2t should get you negative 6t. So you have a negative 3 times a positive 2, that's going to be a negative 6, and then you still have the t. And then multiply your last two numbers, so negative 3 multiplied by positive 3. Negative times a positive is a negative, and 3 times 3 is 9, so you should get negative 9. And this is where one of the special cases comes in to watch out for. So notice your two middle terms, when you simplify and combine like terms, you end up with positive 6t and negative 6t. That's going to get you 0t if you combine those terms. So you're going to be left with 4t squared minus 9. So essentially we multiplied everything together, we distributed the 2t and the negative 3 into the other binomial, so double distribution. Then we simplified our like terms. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable part. So the 6t and the negative 6t are considered like terms because the variable part is t to the power of 1. Notice the 4t squared, that is not a like term with those other two middle terms because the variable part is a t squared, not a t, so it doesn't have the same variable components. So this is a term on its own. These two in the middle were like terms because they both had a variable part t, and those simplified to be 0t, so they cancel out. And then you have negative 9 on the end. So that's going to be your final answer. And this next one we have d minus 4 all squared. And you want to rewrite this as d minus 4 multiplied by itself again, d minus 4. What you can't do that a lot of students want to do is they want to just distribute the power of 2. You can't do that because you have a plus or minus sign in between, and you're going to miss some of the terms that are being multiplied against each other. So you do need to rewrite it as d minus 4 multiplied by itself again, d minus 4. So you can't just distribute that power of 2. And then from here you can go ahead and multiply. So d times d should get you d squared. D multiplied by a negative 4 is negative 4d. Distribute the negative 4. Negative 4 multiplied by the d is negative 4d. And negative 4 times a negative 4, negative times a negative is going to make it positive. And 4 times 4 should get you 16. Once you have it all multiplied together, you just want to combine like terms. So you have your d squared. There's no other like terms with the d squared. Then you have the variable d to the power of 1. You have negative 4 and negative 4 more. So you have negative 8 d's. And then you have your 16. So that should be your final answer. And the next one, again, we have this square on the parentheses, so we need to rewrite it as 3v, let's make that a little neater, as 3v plus 1 multiplied by itself again, 3v plus 1. So this is representing the square. Remember, to square something means multiply it by itself. So 3v plus 1 multiplied by itself, 3v plus 1, and then multiply everything together. So 3 times 3 should get you 9, and the v times v is v squared, so 9v squared. Distribute to the next term. 3v times 1 should get you 3v. And the second term, distribute in. So 1 times the 3v is another 3v. And then 1 times the 1 should get you 1. And then combine your like terms. So the v's we can put together. So we have 9v squared plus 6v's. 3v plus 3v is 6v plus 1. And that is your final answer. I guess when you're typing this in, make sure you are definitely typing it in with the power of 2. So use the buttons on your computer screen. It should give you the option to make sure you have those exponents in the right place. And here's another one. So this one we don't need to rewrite, so we can just multiply. So 3y times 3y, 3 times 3 should get you 9, and then y times y is y squared. 3y times negative 4, 3 times negative 4 is negative 12y. And then distribute the 4. So 4 times 3y should get you positive 12. So positive 4 times positive 3 is positive 12y. And then a positive 4 times a negative 4. So positive times a negative, we know it's going to be negative. And 4 times 4 is 16. And then combine your like terms in the middle. Notice you have opposites, so negative 12 plus 12 should get you 0. So you have 0 y's left in the middle. So we can just rewrite it without a middle term. So we don't need a middle term, we can rewrite it without the middle term since that's just going to be 0y. So this simplifies to just be 0y, which is pretty much nothing. So 9y squared minus 16. And that should be final answer for that one. And the next one, we're going to need to rewrite this because we have a binomial squared. So rewrite it as 4t minus 4 multiplied by itself, 4t minus 4. So that's something multiplied by itself, 4t minus 4. squared, and then you can multiply. 4 times 4 should get you 16. T times t is t squared. 4 times a negative 4 is negative 16. And then we still have the times t. And then distribute the next term. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And then we have the t times t still. And negative 4 times negative 4, that's going to get you positive. So negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times the 4 should get you 16. And then you can simplify. So on this one we don't end up with opposite like terms in the middle. We actually end up with a doubling, so they end up being the same. But just simplify it like combining like terms. So 16t squared minus 16t minus another 16t, so minus 16 and minus 16 should get you negative 32t, and then plus 16. And that should be your final answer for that one. And we'll do one more. So again, we just want to multiply. So 4 times 4 is 16, and m times the m is m squared. Multiply the next two terms. 4m multiplied by 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. And then you still have the times m. And distribute your second term. Negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16 times m. And then a negative 4 times a positive 4 should get you negative 16. And then simplify your two middle terms. Negative 16 and positive 16, those are going to cancel and go to 0. So you have 0 m's in the middle. So we can just ignore those. So what we have left is 16m squared minus 16. And that should be your final answer for that one.